We got so into discussing the pro and con of the classified eel that I forgot to start the show. But good evening, everybody. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. It must be Tuesday night at 9:05. Thanks for sticking with us through the end of Atlanta Braves baseball.
They had a big ninth inning.
No, it went extras. That's why we're late.
Right.
Bob Horner just finally,
Sun Devil, baby. Woo! I was going to say Rafael Ramirez. Who's the most unlikely Brave to knock one out and send the home fans happy?
I don't know. Bob Horner makes us happy because he was a fat guy in a baseball uniform.
I believe it was Jeff Blauser with a 550-foot shot to center field. Good for him.
Always, Bob Horner will always bring a smile.
Quite
a little bit before the Braves were good, but whatever.
Sid Bream stole home.
Yeah.
Sid Bream's still running.
He was the only major leaguer slower than me. But anyway.
And Bonds' throw is not in time.
We'll be right back after you listen to our cool theme music. Hey, everybody. I'm just glad my mouse isn't doing that weird double click thing tonight. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
Woo, woo.
All right, we'll take that as an okay. Not bad, okay. Fine overall. I don't know. Well, fine. You guys be that. You always talk when I don't need you to talk. Say something. Silence. Crickets.
I'm tired and full of chicken.
I was basking in our unanimous woo that was unplanned and unscripted.
I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, there it is.
We do have a special guest tonight. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, joining me here in the top row, he is the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe team at Hasbro. I know lots of folks tend to forget that, but he's the hot show, Mark Weber.
Yeah, you would think the biggest word there would be head, given the size of the cranium, but it's probably former. I'm feeling a lot more former every day. So
it has no choice, Mark. It's not getting any closer. So
yeah, the head, meanwhile, while large and spherical yet quite pointy in places, is the same size. It's pretty much always been.
Look, you get a bum rap on it all. You just sit closer to your monitor than I do because this dome takes an size 8 hat too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I got to get in here so I can get all the beautiful light from my centered lighting source. Because if I go further back, the show gets dark real quick.
Right.
And if I try to add light, wait a minute. Here we go. I go full Barbiecore, or this is me 10 minutes into the beach, right? Can't be doing that. So wait a minute.
Only you haven't burst into flames.
Yeah.
The only difference.
There we go. So yeah, properly
You're at the
lit.
bomb test site in Oppenheimer.
Right.
I tried to I bought a whole display case for better lighting, but it didn't work. So okay.
It's too much. It's too bright.
Well, but it makes me the only legitimate toy podcaster here because I got a display case.
You turn on the lights on that thing and open it up. It's like Zool is coming in.
Right. There is no Weber, only Zool.
So is there anything cool and new in the display case today?
Nah, it's same old Transformers. Haven't done much, and it's only that top shelf. So I guess I got to play to my strengths and start getting this spot right. And get something in there.
Right.
The problem was I literally put almost all of my collection into storage. So I don't have that much stuff around. So I either got to get new stuff or fish out some old stuff to fill up now that I have a case to legitimize myself. So now at least with a 1/4 filled display case, my opinions matter. So react to me.
In the bottom row, we're getting closer to almost having a G.I. Joe comic again. But in the meantime, he is still a man without a show. It's Rack Time, Rob.
Hi, everybody. Is it Labor Day yet?
Right.
Yeah, Rob's been back to school for 3 weeks. This is the 3rd week.
This is the 4th. This will be 4 full weeks before Labor Day.
Yeah.
How many weeks left, Rob?
Yeah. What's a timer?
20.
Oh, we're fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
Looks
fine.
Everything's great. Everything's groovy. Everything's wonderful. And also in the bottom row, our special guest tonight. You know him as the host of Plastic Profiles over on the Agent Chuckles channel on YouTube. Link below. James Booth is with us, also known as Agent Chuckles. Let's give him a big hand.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. How you
Come
doing?
Let's get a
Great to be
round out of that guy.
Thank you for having me. I just want to help the team. We're just going to get better and better as we go along.
I am just going to go on record now saying you're entirely too excited about all of this.
No.
Because when we talk about 2-bit slime shows, that's not an exaggeration. That is not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an aspiring to be a 2-bit slime show, so
It can be tricky figuring out 2 separate sources for your slime.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what every 1-bit slime show wants. Is that bump, right? Yeah.
Like a quarter bit
A
over
second
here, I think.
slimy orifice.
But quick question for Racktime Rob. What did you think about the art on the preview pages?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty slick. I thought.
Yeah, I did. I dug it.
I have high hopes for this comic. Granted, we called it at the end of when we read issue 300. We kind of got the old school cliffhanger there that we knew they were going to survive. It's just kind of neat to see it in motion.
Yeah, well, I especially like group scenes and stuff like that. I mean, that's a hard layout for a penciler to
Right.
be able to, have them keep track. But everything, if you can lay out big group scenes and still everything's clear and not looking cluttered, that's a good sign. So, and I saw that so far.
So, good news from Dustin Jeffrey today. Have to share the great day we had. My wife had her last visit with her cancer doctor. She is completely finished with treatment and cancer-free.
All right.
Outstanding.
We're not beating that.
Love it.
Nope. No, everything you hear from this going forward will be a come down.
Yeah.
Right.
So thanks, Dustin, for wrecking the show.
Yeah, usually our show just kind of slides downhill as we go.
We have a nice
right?
gradual decline.
Just guaranteed it.
That initial excitement just tails up. But no, Dustin, that is fantastic news. We're happy that there is a return to health in your family, and all the best returns. The Honcho is a cancer survivor himself. He knows what that's all about.
Absolutely, that's a big day, and
Yeah.
hopefully you just keep building anniversaries of it on top of that. So
Right.
outstanding.
At the very least, it is an excuse for soft serve ice cream.
Oh yeah,
That you've taken advantage of many times.
Yeah,
really. The weather today was an excuse for soft serve ice cream.
Say some for her too. I mean, don't
Right.
just be like, "Hey, that's great. I'm gonna go get ice cream." No,
It all will work. Bring some home.
it's not how it works.
We're not good people, are we?
Right,
I don't know.
honey. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna go get a blizzard. What?
Just change the flavors up. It's all pumpkin spice now. Oh my God. Oh, we're off to hell. Hell.
On a rocket sled.
Mhm.
Right. Remember, if you're catching us on Facebook tonight, be sure to give us a thumbs up or a heart or a little huggy guy. Give us that. It's just some kind of reaction. We love little huggy guy, but they all do the job. Just to let Facebook know that you're paying attention. And if you're catching us on YouTube, that's where you can help us the most by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to hit that little bell thing, that's fine too. We don't care about that. We're here every Tuesday and occasionally some other days too. So whatever. We're never going to just annoy the crap out of you with endless content. We have other stuff to do. We live stream because it's far less work than doing actual videos.
We want to.
Let me write that down.
We want to consolidate how we annoy the crap out of you.
Right. We try to keep it limited to just one day a week, and then the occasional,
Yeah.
we're entertained. We try to be entertaining on social media, but come on now, we all have better things to do than be just pay attention to us, and the rest of it can just that can be on your leisure time. But
we pretty much save up our reactions until Tuesdays, and that lets other people have genuine reactions rather than just parroting us.
It is one of our catchphrases. We are your favorite G.I. Joe podcast,
We're not saying don't listen to anybody else. Listen to everybody else, and then tune into us and see if they were right.
Phil Donnelly notes that his show only has 1.5 bits. I think.
We know Patrick's good for one, so we know who's not bringing up their end.
Right. I'd say I think he's giving himself a little too much credit.
I think he spent the other half bit on Disneyland passes.
Yeah,
that's what I think. But
Patrick's encyclopedic knowledge of GI Joe toys is well documented. But Phil,
he does have a proton pack.
Well, Phil is the invaluable permanent guest host. He's been supplanted tonight because we got the new hotness in James Booth.
And Phil has to be on standby for Mark's cabinet when Zool pops out.
Right.
Andrew Galgan notes that the honcho is feeling spicy tonight. What spice is that pale, Mark? Can you tell us?
I mean, that's a funny thing is I can barely handle spice, right?
White pepper.
Jalapeno
Sea
is
salt?
like the top. Like that's like the best. I'm never going to be on that wing eating show. That's for sure. But yeah.
Come on now. It's why that's the next step after celebrity podcast, isn't it?
Wing eating.
Going on Hot Wings or Hot Eats or whatever it's called.
Right. I'll be on right after Jennifer Lawrence, and then me, and then the honcho, and then Keira Knightley. Right. That'll be the and the ratings. The ratings will just spike in the middle, and they'll be like, "What the hell?" Yeah, I can feel spicy. I just can't taste spicy, and that's okay.
Right. Craig Cohan asks Racktime Rob the question: What? He's at 25 years as a high school teacher. Where are you at? Got 10 more until retirement. So he thinks. But how many years you been doing this full time, Rob?
Oh, this is year 6. So they will be pulling my desiccated husk out of the classroom.
Right.
That'll be a big day for the kids.
You're just a baby.
Rob did some other stuff first. He went to school. He got a history degree and found out exactly what that pays for in the economy. We did some other things, and now he's got a master's, and he's special ed, and he's always going to have a job. He's going to have a job past the point where he wants a job.
Yeah, right. Believe you me, I'm not throwing stones.
Right. Sean Russell asks, "Are you our favorite Batman the Animated Series podcast? Favorite GI Joe podcast? Probably.
Why not?
Probably."
Yeah.
We got Racktime Rob. He's the Bat guy. So
I'll jump in.
GI Joe is really his secondary. He is a Batman guy first and foremost. So
weirdly though, it's the Batman from Earth 12 that really gets his juices flowing.
Actually, I believe at one point that was the official designation for the animated series.
I'm sure it was. I have no doubt. Wait till they get overrun by Spider-Man.
They have
great crossover.
Earth 12 is where the new My Adventures with Superman takes place on Cartoon Network, and that is not me feeding you a line.
No, yeah, I watched. Yeah, and not only that, Earth 12 also at one point was Young Justice. So
okay, so there you go.
It's been passed around.
There you go.
Earth 14 was Old Justice, where they're like they all got back problems.
We told you that was Earth 2 with the Justice Society.
Right. Nobody takes over Luby. There's no crime at Luby's at 2:30 in the afternoon because they're all the Justice Brunch Society is there to take care of
it. They're all at the Legion Hall.
The Justice Brunchers. I love it. Oh my God! Well,
it's Wonder Woman and Barnaby Jones and Angela Lansbury and
and don't forget Matlock.
And Matlock, yeah.
I mean, Linda Carter can hang out. That would be pretty cool.
That's what happens to Bruce Wayne at 80 becomes Matlock. It's great.
I'd watch that.
That was.
I know you would.
Are you kidding me? He's commissioning the script. Oh my God. Craig Cohen wants to humbly plug a vlog his friend and I started this summer. I bought toys today on YouTube. 2 dudes talking about toys. Well, I got to say that's not a terribly original format. That's 4 dudes talking about toys. But good luck to you. We will make sure to give you a check out. Posted on how it's going. But anyways, so who just got visited by aliens?
Right?
Who was that?
I assume that was Colin doing something, but
Probably me. If it sounded like a car driving by, yeah,
It did.
yeah.
it kind of sounded like a toilet flush. And I'm
Every
like,
once in a while.
which one of you guys is that lazy?
James has the sheets up as a backdrop because he is actually broadcasting next to the highway.
That's a shower curtain.
Yeah. You're not exactly wrong. Yeah.
It's tough getting all those shopping carts stacked up, right to get that.
That's
done.
my shower curtain. My son just flushed the toilet.
At least he flushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It must have been brown if he flushed it down, I guess.
Right.
Hey, look, man, that's better than trying to gas you out. So
No. This is the craft room. That's all a joke, everybody. This is the craft room. It's not my shower curtain.
the craft room is what he calls the highway.
Yeah.
Oh, he said craft. I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Nice. Yeah.
So we have probably wasted enough of the public's time.
I don't know.
What do you say we get into community calendar?
I'm stealing myself.
There's a Comic-Con or a toy show. What's on Joe mind? Wants to know. Tell Mike, Mark, and Joe. Community calendar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had to run that one today.
I got
You wrote it. We gotta play that one tonight.
I got respect for the old school. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Right. It's in rotation, man. It's
Thank you.
took
Thank
that
you.
one out. It's just there's so many that Absorbvids has put together. The odds are just never in your favor because you only did one.
Yeah.
No,
Bless you, Absorbvids. So I didn't have to try to make another one.
No, but it makes you the oasis of sanity once every couple months in our community calendar intros.
It does
We
cleanse the
don't
palate
seem
a little bit.
Grafted to an undead husk of raptor.
Getting chased by a sea nug with arms.
Yes, after being victimized by a homicidal chicken nugget.
Talking about
Hey, who's this?
like that.
Who is that?
This weekend,
Who's this girl?
it's Dragon Con. It starts tomorrow. So they're getting into town, some of them. But as you can see, Joe Colton will be there. We've got what she posted as her costume. I don't know what you'd call the schedule. But tomorrow
lineup.
Tomorrow night she'll be dressed as the letter B.
Nice.
It'll be sponsoring a Sesame Street episode.
And then Thursday, it looks like she will be Ace version 3. And then after that, I don't know. None of those are G.I. Joe costumes. But you can follow Joe Colton over on Facebook, and she will be happy to give you the full lowdown on what she's got going on. She's got some surprises. That means she hasn't decided what she's going to do at those times yet.
She's still sewing.
Right.
Or she hasn't secured babysitting for those times yet. Yeah.
No, she has. Both of her folks are in town now.
Right, but that doesn't mean they're going to watch the baby.
That's well, I don't know, maybe. Because chances are she'll take her mom with her to Dragon Con.
Oh.
And no. I'm sure that this is grandparents' weekend with little Mango Habanero.
Mm-hmm.
She and the Wristlock West Whitlock will be in Atlanta for Dragon Con. And be sure, if you see Joe Colton at Dragon Con, be sure to ask before giving her the customary "What's on Joe Mind" hug. You know, just for legal sake, and frankly, that your own personal safety. That's a couple that will kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
They're rough customers. Sean Russell asks, once you say Joe Colton is there, does the rest of the list matter? I mean, no.
That's why we didn't list them.
But truthfully, I don't know who a lot of those folks, like there are so many people at Dragon Con. I wasn't going to sift through it to pick out the people I had actually heard of. There's a lot of folks there, it's a lot of cosplay community. It's a lot of, podcasting and I'll be honest, as it is, I try to stay up to date on what's going on in the G.I. Joe world in podcasting. I can't keep up with the rest of it.
Mm.
I can't. I don't have enough time. So
Warduke's going to be there.
Yeah.
Also, Josh Donaldson.
He ain't got he's free.
Yep. Taking
Or half
bookings
the Angels
right
team.
now.
Half the Angels got released today. I think
Yeah.
Right.
make an appearance.
Poor guy. Oh my God. We could go a full 2 hours tonight on baseball news, but we won't.
We can go full 2 hours just listing the Angels releases.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's left?
I think Brian Downing, Bobby Gritch.
They've
Yeah.
gotten picked up.
Yeah.
That's true.
The roster spots are now free.
I'd pick up Bobby Gritch.
They let what's his name? What the outfielder?
Randall Grichuk or Grichuk.
Grichuk.
Yeah, but he was terrible. We knew whatever. He was awful.
Mark Moore.
Renfro, I think.
Yeah, Hunter Renfroe.
Renfroe, yeah.
He was actually good.
Yeah. Still smelled like Boston a little bit, though. So
He's played in, I think, 5 different places the last 5 seasons, and he's produced in all of them.
yeah, and yet they keep moving him on. So something's going on.
I don't know what that guy has to do to keep a job.
I'm gonna guess it's body odor
Maybe.
or something.
Diana Davis asked, quick question. How do you make garlic bread? This is actually something I do quite often. I preheat the oven to 350. I put slices of garlic bread on a cookie sheet, 2 pats of butter on each slice, dump a whole mess of garlic, powdered garlic on top. 8 minutes, good to go. That's your garlic bread.
There you go.
Boom.
We could smush garlic. We could smush real garlic and see what happens.
Real garlic's a pain. Ugh.
It really is. All that. It's a lot of husking.
Yeah.
Matt Rubin asks, can you imagine Joe Colton giving out a schedule of costumes like this, and then the rest of the What's on Joe Mind team shows up as C-Nugs with toy machine guns? I can imagine that.
Mhm.
I could see that happening.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I got no problem. Atlanta in the summertime dressed as a big foam rubber chicken
Yeah.
is a big ask.
Yeah.
People would harass us too because we'd be lazy, right? We'd all be the same shape, C-Nug. We wouldn't even do the one that looks like Italy, right? And then the one round one. And
There's the
The boot, the ball, and the bell, right?
yeah.
is that it?
And there's a 4th one, but I don't know what that is. So
It's
James,
called Oli.
that one.
It's called Oli. No one likes it.
If you want in on that one, James, there's a 4th chicken nugget shape.
Yeah.
I think that's the uncooked nugget.
Ugh.
Or we could go as dinosaur nuggets.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not it.
Dino Nuggies.
Dino Nuggies.
Something like that.
I'm calling sweet and sour sauce.
All right, that's fair enough.
You can be hot mustard. Say you?
Oh, I'm all about it. Yeah.
I just learned that you can buy Chick-fil-A's Polynesian sauce at the grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about that.
Same with Arby's horsey sauce.
I'm
And
gonna leave that
now
one alone,
Wendy's
but
chili.
Oh, you bet your ass there's a bottle of horsey sauce in that fridge over there. Oh man, that makes your roast beef sandwich just a little extra special. Delightful. Anyways, the live chat is now trading garlic bread recipes, which is amazing.
In fairness, though, in 25 minutes, we've given them one thing off the community calendar. So,
It's the one with our absent co-host, right?
right. So I'll allow it. Yeah, I'm okay. If they have to entertain themselves, I kind of get it. Ramping it up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're ramping it up now.
Oh, goodness. Josiah Alcorn, boot, bell, ball, and bone. Those
Bone?
are the four, yes. Bone.
Pretty sure they're boneless if they're doing it right.
Right? I guess they all had to go somewhere. But
Man.
anyways, next up, ThunderCon.
Oh yeah.
That's in Thunder Bay, the best named city in North America.
Yeah.
In Ontario, Canada. That is a week from this weekend. That is September 9th and 10th because they don't do Labor Day up that way. But Larry's going to be there. So good north of the border for Joe fans there, as of course the writer of G.I. Joe and the most prominent Canadian in comics. So if you're anywhere in Ontario, get yourself to ThunderCon.
Wait a minute. Who's the most prominent Canadian in comics?
Wolverine.
Oh, I was going to say Todd, but fair enough.
And look, Todd's big and all, but he's not Wolverine big.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. But Todd drawing Wolverine? Now we're talking.
Well,
yeah.
he's pretty big. He would.
That is so much Canadian. It practically bleeds poutine.
Right. When he gets to put the nose on Wolverine, it wouldn't even nobody'd notice.
If we could retire the reflection in the blades thing,
yeah, that would be
good. And the split in half two faces thing. Yeah. Cool, but yeah, we're good.
A little overdone.
Yeah, a little overdone.
Wolverine is a character that I'm kind of glad we're taking a break from old Logan right now, because there was we were well past saturation for a good number of years, so I'm okay with just going back and maybe rereading the good stuff.
Well, they killed him off and they kept him dead for like 5 years.
Yeah. You know, most of Larry's run was pretty solid, and then things went a little haywire after that. So, yeah.
What was James Bond Wolverine called again? Scar or something?
I remember that guy.
He had like an eye patch and a suit.
Oh, it's called him Patch.
Patch.
Really?
Yeah. Not to be confused with Fang.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
just asking for a friend.
Our Imperial Guard?
Yeah.
Wolverine stole his suit.
Rob, give us one more ThunderCon for the road.
Oh yeah, ThunderCon.
That's right, Thunder Bay, Ontario. Be there or have visa troubles.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The whole, again, the live chat is united in calling out James for not knowing Patch.
They should be.
Welcome to the show, James.
I missed that. I missed
it
that.
Was when he was the owner of the Princess Bar.
Tough crowd. In Madripoor, right? Yeah.
I'll do better.
It's fine. You're already on our show, so
yeah.
They're low.
The end is near.
Yeah, I might need him to subscribe to me though, so I don't
right
piss him off too much.
There aren't any. There's no one subscribing to us. You're expected to get to. Oh, good Lord, we've led this poor man astray.
I got a line on a whole bunch of bots we're gonna add next week. It's gonna be good.
We know the names of a couple of sketchy online services.
Yep.
Services in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. Moving on. And just in case you forgot, make your plans now for November 3rd and 4th for Assembly Required in Des Moines, Iowa. Remember, Des Moines is for lovers.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Hy-Vee Hall in downtown. Visit codenameiowa.com for more information. That'll give you all the lowdown there. Friends of the program run this one, so if you're anywhere close or even if you're far away, this is worth traveling for. That's why we want to remind you of it now, so you can get your seats on the 3 planes that go into Des Moines every day.
Right. Somebody dissed Zartan. That's awesome.
It's better than trying to fly into Augusta. That's for sure.
Yeah, or Springfield.
Right. But
is parking free? Yeah, I think everywhere in Des Moines.
Probably. Look, Des Moines is I've been to Des Moines once, and it was many years ago, but it was very clean. was extremely, almost distressingly clean. Like, do people throw things away here?
They were really trying to
It's
spike
aesthetically
tourism
clean.
with their cleanliness.
Right. I stopped and ate lunch at Burger King, and it was extremely clean, and that was troubling on a certain level. But Diana Davis asks, "Is parking free?" I don't know, maybe. Gavin asks, "Please never ever describe Des Moines like that ever again, please." I hate to. I'm borrowing their catchphrase, so I hope you're ready for that.
I'll do it
Des Moines is
for love.
Wow, wow, wow.
Do I have anything applicable music wise?
Yeah, play Wham. I mean, Wham.
I took that off.
Make it big though.
I took that away because
Probably a good idea.
we don't want anybody demonetizing us.
Yeah, if you let your kids play with knives more than once, it's probably on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Shame.
Love,
Once,
exciting and new.
fool me twice, shame on me. Yes. So I the closest thing we have to any kind of music right now is the trumpet flare. It's not terribly romantic, but it'll have to do.
No, it reminds me of when the Mets had optimism.
And Edwin Diaz just blew his
gotta
nose.
go.
Oh my God! Well, it's probably time to play another song, and that's another community calendar, that outro. So.
There's a Comic-Con or a toy show. What's on your mind? Wants to know? Tell Mike, Mark, and Joe. Community calendar.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's the odd sense of shame that James has in that. I love it personally.
There's an 8-second bit of the G.I. Joe the movie theme song, the intro theme song, that was supposed to sound alike. So that's what I was going for, just so everybody understands.
I liked it.
Right, that little dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun. Yeah, we used to use it as our theme in the audio only days when people didn't police that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Had no right to do it then, but there it is for posterity anyway. YouTube's a little bit more stringent.
Yeah.
Scoosh.
Right.
I mean, did we get a copyright strike on a public domain song once? I mean,
they threatened us with one when we played. We had James Kavanaugh, noted author James Kavanaugh, on. We used Sweet Georgia Brown for his background, and that was a song that had gotten into the public domain, but the recording that we used was not. So that was the problem there, which is why in subsequent replays you'll find that noted author James Kavanaugh is backdropped by Scott Joplin's The Entertainer, because nobody's defending that at this point. Right.
That's the theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Right. And noted authors James Kavanaugh has The Entertainer by Scott Joplin.
I think it'd be more fitting if he had The Entertainer by Billy Joel, but anyway.
Is it any weirder? No, it's not. Anyways, if you have a show for us, as our longtime fan Stuart Rattay had for us today by sending us the news on ThunderCon.
Oh, yeah.
Send it to whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. We'll do our best to get on the show. I can't promise you if you send it to us on a Tuesday that it'll be there. But then again, most weeks aren't this slow. So a lot of times, yeah.
Be careful and don't confuse that with ThunderCon, coming to Indio, California next Tuesday from 7 to 8.
Look, that would be cool because Buzz Dixon would probably be there.
And Ookla the Mock.
Yeah, Ookla the Mock is confirmed for that. Yeah, so
we dig Buzz Dixon. He's a good guy. He was the guy in.
I got no problem with Buzz Dixon. I'm kind of mad at Ookla for leaving for the Big Ten, but whatever.
Look, you can only be told that it's time to ride so many times, and it's just time to follow your own path.
I never hear that.
watch as I flip this light switch, Barbarian. Wizard! Love that cartoon.
Were there only like 6 episodes?
I think there was probably about like 12 or 13.
I think it got
It's
a
a standard
16, yeah.
standard run.
It just got they played that
They just played the hell out of it.
run for years.
Basically, Thundar was ABC's version of the time to go out and play, kids. Cartoon. It was on at like 12:30.
Right. But Scotty Cameron notes that YouTube has gotten worse with copyright strikes. I guess we don't use anything in our musical library that is not from their musical library. So we're whatever they want to come to us with, we have the perfect fail safe. I learned it from watching you. That's what we have. So yeah, they can't come get us on that one. That's how we beat that rap. Oh yeah. No strikes here, by the way. We did not get a copyright strike when Mark overplayed the sax riff from Careless Whisper.
I got a little loose.
We just got a warning, and I went and corrected the necessary offending clip to where so that is not showcased in subsequent replays of that episode.
Mike sent an email response that the title of it was "Should have known better than to treat a friend."
Right.
And they went, "Okay, we'll allow it."
They respect a good one-liner at the Google office. You got to give them that. Anyways, it's time for the news. Not nearly as ashamed of that one, are you, James?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was getting ready to ask if I can make the noises.
Mark, it's up to you.
I got no problem with that.
All right.
I'm the understudy. It'd be pretty rough if I was like, "No, you can't do my thing because it ain't my thing." So yeah, I'll step back. I'll take the night off. Sure thing.
Yeah. Hey, there you see, you ass.
Don't hurt yourself, kid. It's not as easy as it looks.
You're right. Let me get stretched and warmed up here.
Right?
Yeah.
You want a couple of practice beeps, or you good to go?
No, I'm good.
All right.
First going cold.
All right, I'm sorry. Did you say it?
The first news item.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah. See, we had an example of it there, where when I needed them to not talk, they were talking.
No.
I understand the pain that I have. So I went ahead. I repurposed Mark's disembodied head on this one, so that's bigger.
God, so good looking.
That's really the thinking there. We're trying to bump up our scores with the female demographic. So, as it is, I think right now our female demographic is Diana Davis.
Because Joe stopped showing up.
I think my mom might be watching and my wife as well.
All right,
there we go.
Good.
There you go.
Doubles. I think Rachel Salinas is out there somewhere too. She's kind of a regular. But past that, that's all we get. Look, Absorbvidge is in the house, even after we did not play his intros for yours. So that right there, that's good. That's good sportsmanship. That's sharing the toy box. But anyways, remember that Friday, September. I would almost call it November. Friday, September 15th is Hasbro's release on the Target Fall Geek Out. Oh God, I can almost read today, can't I? But every Friday they're releasing more product, and the 15th is just Hasbro starting. Like they've already started. They've done this for a couple of weeks already. It hasn't been anything that we would cover on our show. But yeah, Friday the 15th. That's and so be ready for something repainted in Tiger Force motif. I'm not terribly enthused, but watch it be something cool. So.
In case you want to catch up, if you remember those really great Batman the Animated Series figures that DC Direct put out a couple of years ago,
no.
Well, now McFarlane is re-releasing them with craptacular paint jobs.
All right,
Yeah, they're cell shaded, right?
Oh no, they're not cell shaded. They got stuff spilled on them. I mean, that's what it looks like.
I see. So they're custom figures.
All right, so there we confirmation.
Hi, sweetie.
April Booth.
I made it.
We haven't done a ladies' night show in a while.
Yeah, there we go.
Ladies' night.
Because our lady host has been gone.
Maybe we can coax her back with one, right? Hello, ladies.
Hello, Ms. Lady.
Oh my goodness.
Can we get to the bottom of the whole Pan thing while we're here?
Anyhow, just remember it's Honcho approved. You know,
Loosely.
I like classified. I'm kind of getting to the end of what I want out of Tiger Force repaints of classified. I mean, I haven't even gotten regular Recondo yet, right? So why don't we concentrate more on sending out Recondo and less on Tiger Force? I don't know. I'm trying to think of just somebody you wouldn't put in a Tiger Force getup, and
Tiger Force Gung Ho would be awesome.
would it?
Yeah, in an army hat would be great.
I mean, you might
Tiger Force Torpedo. That'd be pretty friggin' phenomenal.
look. They almost did Tiger Force.
Swimming to get you.
Back in the day, they almost did Tiger Force Torpedo.
Tiger Shark Torpedo would have been something.
But if you put enough orange on Tiger Force Gung Ho, it could be Gaucho. Maybe that would.
Now we're talking.
That would be more exciting than Tiger Force. Pick up random figure barbecue.
Oh,
so.
I happen to have an extra barbecue. I need another one. How about Tiger Force Falcon with a new head?
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I don't need a Tiger Force Falcon. I don't.
I just need the head.
Matt Rubin says McFarlane is already re-releasing 190 different versions of comic book Batman. Don't give him any ideas. Did you really think that was going to go anywhere different with McFarlane getting the DC license? Any chance that company has to put a bunch of funky capes on Batman figures? They're going to take it.
Isn't that just one Batman for each Earth, though, that he's from?
Almost.
They've outnumbered the Earths.
Right?
And they're infinite.
Yeah, the Earths are saying, I'm from Batman 4.
Which McFarlane Batman are you?
Hans Chow notes that Hasbro Star Wars product video is today. Is it me, or does it feel like they're just firing squad just off camera to take out poor presenters?
I mean, I don't know if you've been keeping track of what's going on in Pawtucket the last 4 or 5 years, but
it's a lot of pressure to put on an Instagram /YouTube /whatever social media presentation. It is. It truly is. Dustin Jeffrey asks, how is there no Tiger Force Snake Eyes? And
just ask Super 7, they'll get you.
Right? I would counter that yes, there is a Tiger Force Snake Eyes. So oh goodness. Yeah. So again, I hope I'm more excited about this when it happens, but I'm in the meh pile at this point.
I mean, it's hard to fairly grade it because you have no idea, other than probably Tiger Force, which exclusives they're going to reveal that they're going to cancel on you. So,
I mean, I'm just hoping. Here's a bad thought, and I really, really, really want to be wrong. What's the one thing that we've seen a physical example of, but hasn't been solicited yet?
Globulus. No.
Mutton Junkyard. Please don't be Mutton Junkyard.
Tiger Force Mutton Junkyard.
Right. I don't see them doing it just because everything Target's had this year has been, or last year plus has been Tiger Force. I don't see.
Yeah, but a
turn on that without a heads up at least.
Cat stripes on a dog. It's going to be something.
He's going to be green and gold.
Battle cat dog. It's going to be something.
James Booth, any guesses on what we might be seeing?
Tiger Force Tripwire and Vamp. I don't know.
Wow, so that's where you got the Vamp. Okay. How about you, Rack Time, Rob?
Let's see. We got Flint, right? Yeah. So Tiger Force.
Oh my God, he's got a checklist out.
Yeah, that's likely. Unless they wanted to do, Tiger Force. I don't know. Blizzard. Forget it.
Mark-
I'm tired.
Mark, what figure are you not going to go in their store to buy?
I'll tell you which one I would have made if the mold is still salvageable. Wasn't Sabretooth the unreleased Tiger Force Beachhead guy?
Or Firefly? Yeah, he was,
Yeah, or whatever. That's what I'd do. That'd be awesome. Do that.
that would be that would actually move me into the slightly enthused pile.
Yeah, nobody would see it coming. If it's going to be a repaint anyway, okay, go kitschy with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, good call. Good call.
See, I should do that for a living.
Oh, weird. You should apply to work at Hasbro, Mark.
It'd probably be a good thing. They should have this. They have this checkbox that says, "Are you a former Hasbro employee?" And I'm pretty sure if you check that, I think I know which chute those resumes go down.
The pneumatic tube leads right to the shredder.
Pretty sure that's an off ramp. But I'm an honest guy, so yeah.
Yes to wreckage going on in the. So that's the Firefly Tiger Force repaint in question is wreckage
There you go.
or original wreckage. Anyways, but
As Ladies' Night continues.
right. So yeah, it's anyways.
Oh, Torpedo 83 with the win. How could we forget?
Look, I'm not getting my hopes up. I want Tiger Force Tollbooth. I'm just not. I refuse to get my hopes up at this point. I have been disappointed time and time again. I can't even get a Tiger Force Tollbooth out of Super 7.
Probably get a Night Force toll booth before you get a Tiger Force toll booth. With this big orange helmet.
Right.
But who would make a
Put
Night
a light
Ops?
on it.
But who would make a Night Ops figure with garish, blinding colors?
Right. Seems weird.
Crazy.
Next news item.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
All right, I was gonna be afraid that he had muted himself.
Nope. I'm here.
Oh,
Here's our news item. And so pictures were leaked earlier this week, over the weekend, I believe, of this Night Force figure, Parth Wolf Spider Varma. Wasn't announced anywhere. Couldn't tell you when it's coming out. He's labeled as Night Force in the box. We don't have a picture of the box in there because I'm sure you've seen it by now. If not, you can always check out our friend Chaz the Guru on Instagram for images. I want to give credit to Bees Battlegrounds for breaking the news. He is a total kit bash. As you can see, like he's got Falcon's gear, mostly Snake Eyes body, that Stalker Snake Eyes body, beachhead head with the mask on it. He does not have visible features. You can tell in the eye area he's got a dark skin tone. I'm going to guess by the name Parth Varma, he is of Indian descent. But hey, there's no file cards unclassified, so he's whatever. This is not build as an army builder. We're not going to tell you how to run your collection. He's got some cool headgear options, so you can at least, looks like you can make a couple of different guys out of him. But God knows what he is or what he does or what's going on here. But thanks to those guys for breaking the news on this all the same. Box is labeled at number 109, which is kind of mind-numbing that we've gotten 109 figures in a class.
yeah, it's 25 a pop. Do the math, people. Ooh.
I'd rather not.
There's
Even if you are an army building. Oh.
Hawk Sanders asks, can we get a Wolf Spider Tiger Force?
It's about time.
It took so long. There's a lot of parallels being drawn to Beachhead version 3 or the one with the yellow pouches and stuff from 1994.
He does look a little like that.
A little. It's not nearly bright enough for that. I can see where maybe they took some cues from it. I think Emily in a much earlier live stream noted that was one of her favorite figures. So I could see them taking some hints from it. But he's okay. Like I'm not super fired up here. I like that they went with a new character. I don't like that they went with a new character with no discerning features or personality or parts. Even if it was just a new head, like clearly this is. I think they're trying to build up the international side of the team. At least give him a head. At least give him a face, right?
Yeah.
But Mark, your thoughts?
Hey, I love that they're doing. I mean, that's my number one complaint about Classified, right? Is you have the sandbox to play in. It's the same reason I rip on comic books and their multiverse stuff, right? You have this unbelievable sandbox to play in, and the best you can do is, what if we made a bunch of Spider-Man, or it's the Batman from another Earth? Brr. Like, how many barbecues do we want to paint up? How about make a new guy? That was the best part of being a real American Hero fan back in the day. But we were way before the internet. Getting that first figure off the peg and flipping it over and going, oh my God, what else is coming this year? Look at all the newness coming this year. So I would myself would have, I don't have any problem with them going international with the name, right? But it takes something away from the code name if you have to put the real name around it. I don't care if it's Biff McConkie Dog, right? I don't want to see the name unless you have to include it to preserve the legality of using, if it has to be, I'm trying to remember, Ralph Steeler Pulaski to do Steeler, fine. But if he was brand new, I could do without the Ralph and the Pulaski, right?
Right.
But in the lists of names, I would have left Wolf Spider on the cutting room floor. Doesn't do much for me. I get it's kind of cool.
It sounds a little too Metal Gear Solid for me.
Yeah, it's what a second grader would have named their new Joe character, right? And
somebody's 87 Steel Brigade is out there with the name Wolf.
Absolutely. And I have old file cards I typed up on a typewriter that have names like Black Mamba, right? Well before Kobe Bryant was in the NBA. If you take a Snake Eyes head and put it on Destro, bam, Black Mamba.
That is an interesting look.
Yeah, it was a pretty slick fig. And boy, I want to be really careful because I want to be careful that this doesn't sound racist. It's always good not to sound racist, even better not to be racist. But when I read Parth Varma, my immediate click was, what is he, Mandalorian? Right? It sounded a little Star Warsy.
A little Star Warsy, but that's okay. That's
yeah.
right.
So, but if they had file cards with the name on the back and it was Parth Varma, fantastic. If they wanted to make a Joe who was specifically of Indian descent, no problem with that, right? But the problems I have are
that we have no story behind it.
Lack of file card, no story. What are you supposed to know? What do you know about this guy? Why would you fall in love with this guy off the peg? Because you have to get him into the cart and out past the checkout, and the name does nothing for me. I don't mind that it's regurgitated parts, but yeah, a new face probably would have helped, especially with a big old helmet like that.
Right.
So,
I mean, as it is, he's got night gear and he's got the pilot's helmet. And again, both fine choices. I'm not saying that those are. It's bad to have that stuff, but you're putting a mask underneath those things. Come on.
It's a hat on a hat. That's a cornet term, but yeah. But I want to be careful because I am nitpicking here. I'm thrilled that they have a brand new character, and I hope they do a lot more like this because that's been my number one hammer, other than the brutal chest cut, which is nicely obscured here, about the classified line since Jump. I need new characters. Why wouldn't you want to do new characters? Yeah, trademark me, by the way.
Our time asked, did he say Biff McConkie Dog? And yes, he did.
Yeah, I did. But so I love that they did this. A couple things I would have tweaked if I'd had a hand on the wheel, but I don't. So,
Rack time, Rob. What do you think?
I think I got to see bigger pictures of this before I.
Yeah. James Booth, chip in here, man.
All right. Well, I like the figure. The file name is a little odd, but sure. I think it comes with some rope too. And I'm wondering how you would actually use that, since it doesn't look like he has any sort of attachment harness or anything to, repel, like, if I were to critique,
I think it's a lasso, James. I think.
Yeah. I would say he should have come with another head and not that other mask thing or whatever that is, and lose the shotgun. And instead of that chunky vest, put on some sort of a harness. I love that helmet. I think he's going to sell well. People just want that helmet with the flip up, eyepieces. I'm glad it's a new character. It's awesome. It gives everyone with the Eternals Kumail Nanjiani figure somewhere to put their face on.
Or a reason to pick those up. I believe they're
or a
on
reason
discount.
to buy them from Ollie's or wherever they're at now.
Matt Rubin notes that just looking at the picture here, isn't that Falcon shotgun? If it is, it'll be bent out of the package and won't straighten for shit.
No kidding. And bent in a weird way, too.
Slightly to the left.
Mine is like bent down. It's like
Hans Chow is something of an expert here. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Varma section of the phone book is full. Several straight pages of Varma. And then goes on to note, yes, I still have a phone book. So fair enough. Way to cover your bases there. And okay, so there you go. So maybe that's a bit more of a... Dave McDonald notes we need Canadian representation as spider. Look, a wolf spider is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the spider that I put in the thumbnail for this episode is a wolf spider. So that's part of the joke there. Matt Rubens, now, GMI for who's bent where. I think you don't understand what show you're watching. Tune in for the post show as Rob talks about the dump he took last Tuesday. I don't know. There's no joke there.
clearly.
Anyhow, he's not going to actually talk about that.
No.
Moving on. That's why we have James here. He's here. That's why he's a guest. That's why we listen to his show. No, it's not. Anyhow. So James, you're not lining him up for plastic profiles anytime soon.
Well, they didn't make an original one, so that's part of my deal.
You've got
there's no file card. I could scan the barcode, but that's going to take me to a non-existent website, right? So it's
you got to compare it to itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he's 100%
I'm not
accurate.
the only one that's not working for. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next news item. That's it. It's all,
yeah.
We got. We finally let a new guy handle the boops, and we had two news items, and we kind of had to fake one of those. It was a tough week for news. But just to remember that news brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast, proudly presenting Chonky Tank Kitty and his Meowler tank. We got to see the version 2 of that one last week. He's got a turret. I want to get one of those with a moving turret.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to get the one with the visor, with the MoCat.
Would have been more impressive if the 3-foot-long shark hadn't come out 10 minutes after that. Holy,
the giant 2-seater classified scale shark.
Oh boy!
I don't have anywhere to put a 3-foot 2-seater shark, but I got all kinds of space for Chunky Tank Kitty.
That's fair.
But Daredevil Dave says he's got to go. Be sure to catch up later, Daredevil Dave. There will be a quiz. But White Vegeta asks, did we mention happy birthday to Arthur? No,
not yet. Shout outs later on.
Okay, yeah. I was not aware. I haven't done a whole lot of social media the last couple of days. I'm really doing my best here, but sometimes time is constrained. Yeah, we'll get to that in shout outs. We'll let Mark handle that. Mark's his favorite. Deal.
I'm a birthday kind of guy.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people out there with birthdays that don't suck.
Right. There's plenty of people that have that don't hate their birthdays.
There's only a couple ones to avoid, right? Like the 24th, 25th, probably the 31st and the 1st. Maybe July 4th. I have a buddy who was born on July 4th, and he always got fireworks for his birthday. It's not a bad gig.
One of the best bosses I ever had, his birthday was January 1st. And then his younger brother was born the next year on January 1st.
Ooh.
So that was like the double in that family right there.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
So shout out to Dave. But yeah. Matt Rubin, again with wisdom, rather be a birthday kind of guy than a death day kind of guy. And that's fair.
Seems legit.
That's fair. But that's it for that. What do you say we give the floor over to our friends at Kokomo Toys? We'll be back with you in just a couple seconds.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
And welcome back to What's on Joe Mind. We're here with our special guest today, James Booth, also known as Agent Chuckles. He's the host of several podcast projects. I keep bringing up Plastic Profiles, but there's more going on the Agent Chuckles YouTube channel. Why don't you tell us more about those? I'm going to leave you.
Oh. Okay. I'm the only one here. I'm not nervous. Oh, there I am.
Go!
Okay, sorry. So, I'm Agent Chuckles. You can find me on YouTube at Agent Chuckles. We've got several projects. My partner and I, Stephen, the Writing Dad. One is Plastic Profiles. I think that's the one that I enjoy doing the most, where we break down and analyze a classic G.I. Joe figure and their file card, and then we compare it to the current classified iteration. We've looked at the Walmart retro figures, and we determine which of those figures are more accurate to the file card. And because in my mind, the file card, that's the first taste of who you get is that character. Before the comics, before the cartoons, you get the file card. So I do some deep dives. I read a lot between the lines. I'm a former military brat. Both my mom and father served, and so I hit them up for information when I can. And I was like, what is this? Is there a spy school? What's bodyguard school? These sort of things to try to figure out, what exactly these guys did in their real service,
right,
so to speak. And I also play with some broken toys and try to put those back together and make them look nice. I do a lot of pictures. I take toy photography, but Plastic Profiles, I'm most proud of that. And yeah, we have a good time doing that.
Here's a personal question: who salutes who between your mom and dad?
They divorced when I was young, so I don't think they salute each other anymore.
Or it may not be a military salute.
Yeah, it's a one-finger salute for sure.
Right. Much more casual kind of salute going on.
The equality, though, they salute each other. Okay, fair enough.
But Danny of our time, he dug it when I just left you on your own. He's welcome to the show, Danny. We appreciate you.
I felt like Garth in the middle of the show. Oh, this is fine.
I had no idea what happened.
I wasn't planning to do that. It's just, sometimes I just get moved. So tell us more about, James. What's your background in this hobby? Like, where did it all start for you? How did you get into G.I. Joe as a kid? How did it translate into the extreme weirdness of being a part of this as an adult?
Oh, goodness. Oh, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No. So I'm 47. So I'm started in 82. My first figure was Rock and Roll Straight Arm from Sears. I think it was $1.75. I don't remember how I got the rest of them, but they just started accumulating. I collected all the file cards religiously. They were it just grabbed a hold now. And I was aware that the comics were a thing. I'd seen the cartoon commercials, but I never really got into them at the time. So it was all about the file cards, and then the cartoons came out and I was like, oh, this is fine. But these are a little bit goofier than if you read this, these guys are bad. These are bad mamma jammas. And then I'm watching this, and they're aiming at a cobra and they throw their gun down so they can throw punches. Like, okay, I don't, but I love the cartoon. Don't hate, don't hate. But then I discovered the comics, and then it really grabbed a hold. Then, my first issue was issue 50, the double-sided Invasion of Springfield, double-sized, and yeah, that was just awesome. Who Serpentor is running in, there's blood. I see blood. This is, it's just amazing. So, long story short, too late. I grew out of my toys, and I traded them. Yeah. I traded them. I can't tell you as Yankee fans what I traded them for.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. It was a Mike Piazza starting lineup.
Oh, that's not that bad.
All of them
Yeah.
were Piazza?
Just the figures. Oh yeah, I know. But at the time, starting lineups were the big thing. But they haven't held their value as you might have.
That was a Dodger starting lineup too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Right shade of blue at least. But I'm a Met fan, so.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. But G.I. Joe's hurt me a lot less than the Mets have, so
Right.
I can always come back to G.I. Joe.
Look, we're not the violent sort of Yankee fan on this show. We're the smug kind of Yankee fan.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like we
And
don't.
decidedly less so lately.
Yeah, right.
We're not angry about you being a Mets fan. We feel bad for you.
We had to live with one.
I feel bad for me too.
So yeah, Matt Rubin asked the question that everybody wants to know specifically: how many figures did you trade for Mike Piazza?
Okay, so to be clear, I don't think it was just Piazza. I think Jason Isringhausen was in there as well.
Oh Jesus!
Hey,
it doesn't make it any better, but
it could have been Pulsifer, right?
Yeah.
Or was it Wilson? Was he
Wilson and
Generation K?
Pulsifer, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Craig Jeffries.
No.
With his black.
It wasn't
bat
Todd
that he
Hunley
made.
either. I think I got Todd Hunley's on my own. How many figures? If I had to guess, I'd say 30.
Oh,
Christ!
Yeah.
you got hurt.
And I still had the Royal Guard Globulus's little antenna deal. I had Rock and Roll's bipod, Dusty's bipod. The story doesn't get better.
Do you know straight up how many Mike Piazza starting lineups you could get today for the bipod? Ooh.
25 probably.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But I kept my comics though. They were very close to my heart and very near and dear. I kept those, and I'm not sure what happened, but I just started getting them back. I've got them all back now. Chat, I got them all back now. Not the original ones, but I've got them all back now. But they started creeping back into my life, and it just felt right. It just felt like it was the thing. Like goodness, I still have my bed sheets. It just, I don't know. I can't explain. It was just, as an 80s kid, it just hit me at the right time, the right everything, and took hold. Now why I do this? I don't know. The file cards really are a lot of fun to read. I mean, they're just, I would have loved to have gone through with Larry Hama and just, tell me why you wrote this. Why'd you write this? Right. But, armed security would have taken me pretty quick probably, but.
Or I would imagine a lot of his answers would be, I don't remember.
Yeah, that was 40 years ago, you weirdo. Yeah.
Ease up, man.
Yeah. It's just a toy.
When Stalker's going into his Foot Locker, what's the combination?
Why is Stalker from Brooklyn all of a sudden?
That's a legitimate question, really. That's okay. But
well, he's from Detroit, right?
Right.
Yeah, but in the comics, randomly one issue, he was back home in Brooklyn.
Oh,
and
okay.
When I was working at Hasbro, part of my job was to oversee the Joe scripts and pencils as they came in for the books, but not for Larry's book. Essentially, it was no one edits that book, not no one. I won't say it that way, but this is the guy, right? Yeah. The newbies probably could use an eyeball on it from the brand, but Larry's got it. And then I got the one where Stalker's back home in Brooklyn, and I'm like, I think I would have caught that.
Yeah.
Well,
Dustin Jeffrey wants to know, he's got a Mark McGuire and a Mike Dunham. He's the first Predators goalie starting lineup. He's willing to trade for a Marauders barbecue.
Hey, here we go.
I no offense, but
Wheeling and dealing.
first Nashville Predators goalie doesn't really move the needle. And although McGuire's a redhead, so I'll give him that, and a Mark, so I'll give him that one. But if you wanted to tug on my Predator heartstrings, where's the Shea Weber? Huh? Where's my Shea Weber? Holding out.
No deal.
I got to tell you, we went to Montreal a couple years ago, right after Shea Weber got traded up there, and every storefront had the Weber jersey in it, right? And people wearing Weber shirts around, and I'm like, I could get used to this, man. Montreal is pretty cool.
That's what all the strip joint aficionados say.
Mm-hmm. So I'm told.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. All I know is there's a rainbow in Toronto. That's the place to be.
Right.
For the Maritime Fold.
For a better trade offer, check out Danny of Our Time.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Carter.
It's
Oh,
the
all
Expo. It's the Expos one, though. So,
Oh.
No, I think when starting lineup started, it was METS Mets.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, the one I've got, he's got the catcher's gear, and he can do this.
Jimmy had that
Right.
one.
I've got the one where he's looking through his hand at the horror that is the rest of the '86 Mets, because he was the white knight of that team. Let me tell you.
Oh, that team was fun, and that half of them were Hellraisers, and half of them were such goody two shoes. Like there was Carter and Tim Tuffle and like Mookie Wilson was a choir boy, and like there were just extreme, nice guys of baseball, and then there was, Kevin Mitchell who almost knifed Dwight Gooden because he was mildly annoyed that day.
Right.
I think cut the head off a cat too. I think
Supposedly, yeah. And right in the middle was Keith Hernandez with half the team trying to draw him back to becoming a Sith Lord again, right?
You're just sitting there with a coffee and a cigarette, trying to get through the day.
Coffee shaking. Daryl and Dwight going, come on over here, Keith. We'll show you something.
All right, Keith.
Join us, Keith.
Yeah, David
Wally
Cohn in the
Packard going
bullpen,
bananas.
Right.
pants off.
Right.
Just nobody worse on that team than Lenny Dykstra and Wally Backman, though. those are the guys. The fans loved those guys because they were the scrappy overachievers. Oh my God, they were
monsters.
Yeah, they turned out to be terrible, terrible people.
I still can't believe
They
they had
were.
no one. If you strapped a GoPro video to a guy and had him follow Lenny Dykstra around, that'd be the best reality show on television, I think.
Or just strap it to Lenny Dykstra because nobody's going to be able to tail him for that long.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Just give it to Lenny. Anyways, our younger brother James, who's also named James, he is also a Mets fan. So we're used to dealing with black sheeps in the family.
Sure.
Black sheep in the What's on Joe Mine family. Well, you and Phil Donnelly.
The funny thing is when the Yankees and the Mets played in the World Series and the Yankees won, Mike and I were nice to the boy because, Dad,
right.
Let him have
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
It was bad.
Your dad, I heard, threw part of a bat at him.
Davis wonders that Cullen asks, and Cullen is her husband, asks how this turned into a baseball podcast. I would counter that we're really never that far away from being a baseball podcast.
Yeah.
So
It's usually, we need to give Joe more credit, right? Because Joe usually starts audibly snoring on the show.
Right.
If we veer into baseball too far.
Right. And like she's a fan. Like she doesn't hate baseball, but she is a good barometer for when there's too much baseball.
Yeah.
We could do our own show on that but Brian King says he still kicks himself for losing my Copperhead Zartan Duke Airborne Wild Bill His Driver file cards on the school bus one day.
Oh, see, that's why we didn't go to school.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
rough.
I once took a couple of them to school. and one of them came home with no gear, and so I figured that was the last time he was going to school.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it was one of those 82 guys that wound up just crumbling to dust. So I just got him again in 83 for the 83 version, and those are better anyway. Is it weird that I'm the guy who was on at the beginning and I have no interest in the 82 figures? James, let me know.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the 83s can hold their rifles sort of realistic looking. Like
Right.
the 82s are good to check a box. You know, I got it.
I don't even care about checking that box. You know,
No, I mean, or if you have that collector's case with the names inside, look, I can put it in there, and then you close the box and put it up high somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Where no
Pray
one,
they don't disintegrate. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
you know, they still disintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I a couple years ago had to go through on a band replacing run, knowing full well that those cases had not been out of the storage container for 8 or 9 years at that point. I just say, well, these things are toast. But I had bought a bunch of those skinny O-rings, so I figured, well, if I'm going to lose track of these, so I might as well put them to use now.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, out of the 12 figures in that case, I think 11 of them, just the O-rings were just, they had crumbled to nothing.
Mm.
So why podcasting? What the hell said, what are you doing? I need to talk about this.
Well, I guess
by strangers.
I guess I blame you. I guess. No. Well, so
Most people do.
it all happened. It all happened, and really, it was. I changed jobs. I got my CDL, so I started driving, and I had nothing to do. You can't, read a book, So I put on whatever. I'd never listened to any podcasts until I started driving, and I started finding, I still had an interest in GI Joe, and I was like, oh, GI Joe podcasting. It almost mirrors how I found the comics. Really, I was like, oh, there's people talking about toys, and so I started doing the YouTubes, watching the YouTubes, and I'm 89 years old, and the podcasts and listening to them while I'm driving. That's where I got the inspiration for the lovely community calendar song. While I'm just driving, I heard it in my head. I actually started with the what's the guilty pleasures?
The guilty pleasures, which I still have on standby, by the way.
Great.
I am so bad at actually constructing video that it's almost comical. So I really should just farm the work out, but that requires money, and that
We don't have that either.
Yeah, there's a little bit in the What's on Joe Mind account, but I need a whole bunch of people to approve spending that. So yeah. So anyways, go on with your story.
Yeah. So I'd started listening to you all, to watching Hooded Cobra Commander on YouTube, and really it just fueled my fire within that I had to get out. And but I had no idea how to do it. I didn't want to just start a channel and just like, look, this guy's cool, and this guy's cool, and everyone does reviews and they're great, but why would I want to do the exact same thing? And so file cards were always really my passion. Of course I didn't just play with my file cards, but learning them and learning the characters and learning their names, still remembering Stanley Perlmutter from Iselin, New Jersey, like that sort of thing. Like, I got to get that mania out of my body somehow. So so
you call it mania.
Yeah. So I thought, let's give it a shot. Let's try it. And I initially I did an audio podcast, and I had my son on it, and he was 13 at the time or so, and he was just leaving his I can tell him what to do phase, and
right.
Then now I can't. So, and he's more Transformers anyway, more the bots.
13, I dare say he held on longer than most. So
yeah, he was really patient with the GI Joe talk. He really sat through the GI Joe talk so that he could talk about the robots.
Fair enough.
But anyway, it just fueled from there. I still do a audio talking about the comic books with Stephen the Writing Dad. But because my partner, Stephen the Writing Dad, doesn't really, he's played with them as a kid, but he doesn't know the lore. And so that's why we go through the comics, so he can learn that. It's really for him, so that he can learn to buy toys. We both worked together at Toys R Us years and years ago. And so, yeah, that's
all right. There you go. So
yeah.
Another famous case of a What's on Joe Mind listener.
That's right.
Off and doing their own podcast. You do it a long and illustrious list.
Well, I super enjoy your show. I don't always get to watch it, but I'm always listening to it. I get it on Friday mornings here in Washington, and yeah,
we appreciate.
I'll wait for it. Yep.
That's Diana Davis with a throwback to the beginning of the show. Mommy, this garlic bread looks and smells wonderful, and dare I say, it may. Diana, that might not have been garlic if you're calling us mommy. So it might just be garlic.
Yeah.
I mean, she is out in California. They're sometimes they get into those funny herbs.
Like oregano.
Right. And then they go driving.
As I go totally Midwestern on the entire world and just assuming that, well, they're on the West Coast. They must be using the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Those left-handed cigarettes.
Oh, my.
Hey.
Jazz cigarettes.
Yeah.
But
Don't go driving after finishing that garlic bread.
right.
The 5 is jammed anyway.
Yeah.
I had to get that in.
Stay in the rest of the night.
Fuck that one off. We're good.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but
So I got a great story about Gary Carter's hair. If you want to hear that.
Well,
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Do you
So
have a
in
piece?
1989, I'll try to make it quick. 1989, we're in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in the middle of summer, hot as blazes.
right.
This is where the origins of me becoming an autograph nerd began. We got an official ball. We're there, lined up. Gary Carter comes walking by. More people come up. My mom is there with the 1989 VHS camera, that's
Right.
weighs 50 pounds. And she can't hold it anymore, but she's got it here. So I've got VHS video of Gary Carter's this whole section, and you can see his curls, the sweat, and you see his ear, and it pans across to the top of a Fulton County Stadium, and then it comes back, where she's getting bumped in, and he signed my baseball, beautiful signature. I learned to forge it on many a bat. Hopefully no one got him a good Gary Carter bat from Goodwill. Late 90s. It's not real. But beautiful signature. So an addendum to this story, Mike Piazza is on rehab in Norfolk. And this is when I lived in Virginia. I was like, I'm going to get him to sign the Gary Carter ball. That's a great idea. And I go there and I'm lined up. It's just me. Okay. So this is 2000-ish, 5 or 6. So what? I'm 30s, something in my 30s, and I'm surrounded by kids. And that's where I decided, all right, it's time to wrap this up. But Gary Carter, Mike Piazza's last one. And he comes, I say, hey, Mike, can you sign my ball? He's like, I'll be there in a minute. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes over, kids crowd. I got my hand out. I can feel him take the pen and the ball. And then I get it back in my hand and I look at it. So I'm looking, and it's just MP. It's like, yeah.
I thought you were going to say he signed over
the Gary Carter.
Yeah.
on accident, right? I've never heard of Piazza being a jerk, but
No. It would have been totally. Oh gosh.
Writes on who's this?
But I got a story now that look at this beautiful Gary Carter signature, and then look at what Piazza did. But
He was in a hurry.
it's a story.
Kathy Smith, welcome to the show, by the way, Kathy. Loves your backdrop.
Thanks, Mom.
All right, there you go. So she's mocking you, is what she said.
Yeah. She bought it when I was 8. So
still ladies' night though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right. Ladies.
I wish Joe Colton was here because we got Rakondo front and center
Oh yeah.
on that bed sheet just for her.
Yeah.
It is.
So what do you say? We do have a couple of mailbag letters.
Ooh.
Again, not stuff that was nothing we could put 12 minutes around on its own episode, but stuff we could talk about here.
You're posting sacking.
Right. Let's fire that one up. Hey, what's on Joe Mind? I've thought about this for a long time, and while I don't think we get a full base or a headquarters, what if Hasbro did it by the room where it's customizable? Maybe sell a medical bay and a weapons storage and a garage, each sold separately. It could connect or stack as a base. They could sell walkways, railings, turrets, and staircases. It doesn't seem unrealistic. If you could talk about this, I'd like it to reach as many people as possible. Hey, so would we. Thanks, Crimson Vader 007. And thanks for the letter. Look, we're not the people you got to convince on this. We don't make toys.
I bet you Nickel will do it for $300 a pop.
But Mark Weber,
Yeah.
you're a former Hasbro guy. Talk about your experiences trying to get bases made.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the very, very first thing I did, an interview with Brian Savage for the Collectors Club book, I talk about the things I'd love to get accomplished, and it was I say would love to get more vehicles and new vehicles, and why not play sets back into the line? And I don't think I got either of those things accomplished. But given that my item count was 3 usually for a year, and the tooling budget was about $3, I didn't have a whole lot to work with. So, but I love a good play set. But boy, I don't know if it works if you're just focused on collectors now. The money is there, the wallet spend is probably there, but the play set really, looked for kids and the ones who wanted to set up literally something to play with. So, but I think the only one beating this drum. I still think the 83 headquarters is not a definite no, because there's so much dead space in it. It's not as much plastic as you think. So I still think when you see what Super 7 has done with their Thundercats thing that's 8 feet tall and 5 feet wide and $500, well, I mean, if people are willing to drop 300 on, not so much. I really thought the Dragonfly was a pretty good value, right? I thought the Hiss tank was actually a little more pricey for the size of what you got, even though it is big, right? But it's not Dragonfly big. So if people are going to drop 300 on a Hiss tank, are there enough lunatic G.I. Joe fans who would drop $550 on a classified headquarters that was to scale with the original?
Right.
I think there is, and I think their profit margin, because I don't think it's that much plastic really. I think that's potentially in play. So now again, I'm glad we're getting a vamp, and probably need a second vehicle so we can fill both vehicle bays before we can start crowing why not the headquarters. But I always thought that was for the price, pound for pound or dollar for fun. I always thought that was the best Joe play set by far. So I'd love to see that at Classified. And I think it's possible. I don't think you can do much bigger than that, but I think that's on the edge of possibility.
Right. And again, I didn't mean to sound pessimistic there, but talking about it with us is one thing, and talking about it with folks on Facebook is something else. And what really the direction for these wants and needs to go towards the people that, one, make the product, and two, sell the product. Mm-hmm. These are the people that you need to be addressing, and you can't be doing it in comments and live streams and things like that. You need to be actually sitting down and putting together a somewhat coherent level of an email and sending those off to those places and saying, hey, I really, this is something that I enjoy and I've invested a lot of time and money in, and I would really enjoy it if you came full circle and started doing larger vehicles and dedicating space to bases and things like that. Because talking about it with us, drumming it up with the fans, that's easy. Okay. And sure, we all want to see these things. We would all love to see them, even if we're not all going to buy them. We're all going to love to see them, because it means that our hobby is a big deal. But drumming it up for us doesn't do any good, right? We don't make it and we don't sell it. So you got to talk to the people that make it and sell it, and you got to convince other people to talk to the people that make it and sell it. So you know, those little, if you go to the website, Hasbro's website has a little contact us bar. Target's website has a little contact us. Walmart's thing has a little contact us. That's a good place to start. You know, I've been thinking about trying to find, get together and put together physical mailing addresses for some of these places, for their buyers. I'm not having a ton of luck so far, but you know, we're working on it. So maybe a place to send a physical letter. It would be great, but
yeah. And if you don't know who you're sending to, you know, dear sir, madam is fine. Or if it's
right.
Target, you can open with
concern.
Yeah, if it's Target, you can open with please don't cancel my pre-orders. You know, just so they know it's not a form letter.
If it's Walmart, it's my satanic overlords. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. It's all
Yeah.
you know.
Well, dear Walmart, I'd love for you to sell a G.I. Joe classified headquarters, but please ship it in a box.
Right. So again, not to get us too far off topic, I'm glad you have questions for us, things that we can answer for you, but that's not a problem that we have a whole lot of ability to fix for you. Yeah. You need to go to the source, and you need to not be angry and not wave your fists around. You just need to talk to them and make a civilized request, and you need to convince other people to do the same thing. And hopefully from there that leads to some kind of results, because again, they figure if one person wants this enough to write an actual letter, that's not just one person sending that letter. That's a lot of people sending that letter. So if they start getting a lot of letters, you see where we're going with that.
Yeah. And the stance of, especially for a big ticket item, I'd like to see this and I would buy it. It's pretty salient argument, right, for a toy company or for a company that sells toys.
Andrew Galgan has a question there. I have to wonder if a physical letter is stronger entry than an email. You know what? I'm not sure anymore. I think the common wisdom used to be that, yes, an actual letter was a bigger deal than an email, but I think we're just at a point now where everything is paperless, and so a letter is just something to get lost. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to hurt anything if you send a physical letter, but just again, I think how that communication is worded and how it's put together means a lot more than, you know, if you're just stringing together word salad. Hey, Hasbro, don't be dumb. Give me my headquarters. Blah blah blah. Like that doesn't earn you anything. If you actually have a statement with a beginning, middle, and end that reads like a business letter, that goes a long way, regardless of what medium you put it into. So again, it's going to take a couple of minutes effort. Maybe you have somebody look it over before you send it, but you know, sending stuff off to the folks that can produce these things means a lot more than complaining to us.
And if you really mean it, all caps, baby. Right. That gets their attention.
No.
Dear sir or madam.
It's Chad says, what happened to the they're too big for store shelves for retailers to stock argument that was used as an excuse to support crowdfunding, all this stuff? Well, things have changed.
I think it's still there on some level, though.
Right. I mean, we see a vamp coming, and we see a missile system coming, and they're going to be at retail in some form. I mean, we don't know how that's going to be sold out yet. I would have a hard time thinking that there's not going to be a retail presence for those things. Online sales is a big deal. It's a much bigger deal than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but it's still only about 15% of sales. So you're missing 85% of your market if you're not putting it on a shelf somewhere. So things change, things are fluid. And if enough people maybe enough people did complain and said, hey, we'd really like to buy vehicles for our soldiers. And that shelf space is now being dedicated to it. I hope people buy it so they continue to do so.
And if you ever wanted to market this to children again, there's nothing better than having a vehicle right at kid eye level on that shelf below the pegs. So,
right. So then they can stop crowdfunding small vehicles. They haven't done that yet. So sure. Next question. Next letter. There we go. Mike, Mark, Joe, Rob, and James. Recently, the crowdfunding for Mattel's Masters of the Universe, Eternia, and Super 7's Thundercats Cat's Lair were very successful. I'm hoping that the Hasbro team is well aware of this because there's no doubt in mind that the classified G.I. Joe headquarters would be another huge hit for HasLab. I'm not sure if we'll ever get a Mobat, but there's spots available for a Vamp and a Dragonfly. So they're right there, Mark. You're talking about where to park them.
mm-hmm.
Do you think Hasbro would do this? How big could it be? What price point do you see? And could you name some additional fun tiers? Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Whatever the fudge that is. Fudge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So fudge.
I mean, some of that's built in. If you think about the 83 headquarters, the only bulky pieces are the front and the back of the front, right? Everything else is pretty flat. Even that great big center base floor, it's all pretty flat, man. I bet they could figure out a way to stack it where, even if you think about the original box for the 83 headquarters, it wasn't that huge.
No, I mean, the issue I see with the 83 headquarters is you need a bunch of ways to try and sell it, which is the tough part, right? Like if I get it, if you're going to sell a piece of a headquarters in a wave of figures, and you're going to do that with 5 figures, so you got 5 pieces of headquarters, great. But your real headquarters are going to be bigger than that, isn't it? So then you're committing to another wave of figures, and so I don't think like build a figure headquarters is necessarily the way to do it.
Yeah.
But
although my original pitch for 6-inch shows was to build equipment in a wave, right? But it was small stuff. It was like the jump with the takeoff pad,
right,
or a Ram motorcycle or something like that. I thought that would have been a big hit, and that you could have absorbed the cost of that extra plastic because you were paying no royalty on it, right? You could still be the same price as your Star Wars 6-inch, your Marvel 6-inch, but have that build a thing. And I think it may have actually worked against me because I don't think they wanted the most valuable 6-inch figure to be the G.I. Joe line, because Star Wars and Marvel were, bringing in a lot of dollar signs, but with the onerous royalty attached to both of them, they weren't bringing in that much profit. So I don't know if they didn't want G.I. Joe to look that different, or if they thought, if we're going to do 6-inch Joe, we want to maximize that profit because the other two aren't anywhere near as profitable on a piece-to-piece ratio, right?
Right. So we already talked about headquarters themselves. Let's just do fantasy booking. James, you've been quiet.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah.
What would you see the price point on, say, an 83 type headquarters, and what would you see as additional fun tiers?
Okay. I would say $3.99.
Okay. And so if people really got behind this, what do you think they would be a good couple of, I'm not saying build out an entire HasLab, but let's say two possibilities for tiers.
Sure. So I think maybe Sparks
to
sit at the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I don't know, a ceiling for the jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
You can just imagine the ceiling, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
It worked first, and I just. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe some a little workbench tool cabinets for Scarlet to put her little wrench in, or Scarlet, sorry, CoverGirl to put her wrench in. Things like that on that, because the one side was the lift, right, and then the other side was I'm blanking.
It was just
Was it
a
just
tank really.
Yeah.
that's right, and it had the opening for the barrel of the tank to go through, right?
Mhm.
So what's something tanky that could go there? Maybe some ammunition crates or shells and things. I feel like that Hasbro makes a lot of money on repainting things, right? Like, I would imagine they make everything. I don't know anything. I'm just imagining, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that the more use they can get out of something, they're maximizing their money. And would they really, how could they remake any of this, except in that silver color? It doesn't look like Cobra stuff.
Make the Action Force green.
Yeah. Or brown. Look, it's the Alamo. But
I don't know if that's the kind of imagery I want.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is there a basement?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, rest in peace, Pee-wee. But if they were going to do that, that's the sort of stuff I would want. I'd want the little things inside, like the tools and ammunition and rifle storage areas. It's going to have to come with a figure. So what, maybe a general of some sort, and then Sparks. That's it. That's my deal.
Right. Rack time, Rob.
I'm thinking this thing's probably coming in 500.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the guide, what that cat's lair was, what, 550?
650.
Granted, that's Super 7, so it's going to cost a bit more because they're on a much smaller scale. But I think this would be a bigger play set, so I think that would kind of even that out. But yeah, I think over 5 is almost a given. But and what about tiers, Rob?
I'm thinking, like, what about like some smaller, if you don't want to do figures, because like this is going to be kind of big, you might knock out a lot of margin just because of the size. Maybe you do smaller things that you can add onto the base, like a Checkpoint Alpha, or like the air defense. Those really small kind of play sets that were kind of made to build out that play environment. So
right, yeah, air defense I could see as being a thing. Checkpoint Alpha is a lot more pieces to cast. So I don't know about that one as it specifically, but I get where you're going.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark?
I think you break the helipad out as a separate piece. And so that's one of the unlock goals. And you make it what I always did as a kid, because I hated the opening on top of the jail. You make the helipad fit right on top of the jail. And now you have a jail cover. You could even invert it, right? If you wanted just to make it a ceiling or helipad on the other side. You're going to have to donate. If you're actually going to have this out in your man cave or toy room or whatever, you're probably, anybody who has this probably bought the Dragonfly too, right? So you could display them together, maybe Dragonfly sideways on top of that. I love Scotty Cameron's idea over here in the comments, General Colton as the Fig. Ooh, and I love the Sparks idea too. Yeah. Maybe they're two different tiers. But man, General Colton, man, you make him the first tier, to make sure you're getting in there. And then, helipad in the middle, and people are like, oh, I don't like the helipad. We should have got it for free. And then bam, you hit them with Sparks. And if you needed a fourth tier, I always liked the kind of pin-on weapons that you could put on the rim for guys to use. So you could make more options for that. And not more of the same. You get extra laser rifles. No, you get stuff that wasn't originally available up there, flamethrowers and stuff. That'd be good. Maybe some boiling oil you can tip over. Yeah.
Well, that'll keep the Huns away.
Right? So now they can't get in through the front because of the boiling oil. They can't get in through they can't get out of the jail because there's a lid on it. They can't get you from the air because you got the dragonfly to defend you. As long as they don't come around the back, you got the most secure headquarters known to man.
Right. Viper Scout's got Gaucho as a mechanic. I think that's a good kind of tier figure as well. Because again, repaint. Guys, I think you make entirely too much out of the roof, right? Like the whole thing without the roof. The whole thing. They took the roof away so you could actually play with it. Anyways. Even if your jail doesn't have a roof, if they climb somebody will shoot them.
You say, I don't want to know what goes on in that prison cell. Put a roof on that bad boy.
Anyways, but yeah, so
it's shank or be shanked. That's the rule.
And then lastly, hey team, silly hypothetical question. If the 87 animated movie was re-released yet again, this time on 4K ultra high definition Blu-ray, would you bother getting it? Full confession, I like to buy the Transformers animated movie in every format released in America. VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, UHD. Didn't come out on Betamax or Laserdisc in the US. And my answer is no, this is a Laserdisc house. No, absolutely, because we see the temporary nature of streaming content these days, as particularly with HBO Max or Max, whatever you want to call it. They'll just end a show without any sort of announcement these days. So any of these services can do that at any time with no warning. They're not under no real obligation to do that for you. So having a physical copy, sure. And if that's the format, high definition Blu-ray is what's going as the format. Yeah, sure. It's going to be what, $30? No problem. I got $30 for that. So long as it's not super hard to get a hold of. Yeah, I'm all for keeping on top of the format as much as it allows. I'm guessing you guys are in agreement on that one.
Yeah,
I've already got a copy on DVD, but
yeah, I think that's the last one they've had. I don't think they've ever put out a Blu-ray.
They did do a Blu-ray.
Did they? Okay,
they did do a Blu-ray.
I've got the last copy. I wouldn't buy it again unless I don't even know if it exists. But the Transformers movie, the one cool thing about the last DVD I bought on that is they had, was it scenes they'd cut out or something? It's been a while since I've seen it, but they had things like you can see, oh, there's Grapple. He was out doing that at this time, or I'm having a hard time remembering now, and I feel ridiculous for bringing it up. But they had extras of things that were cut out, and I don't think I've ever seen that on a G.I. Joe the movie DVD, and I eat that stuff up. So if they ever put any kind of here's a guy who swept the floor of the cutting room, like, oh, I'd love to hear that guy talk about the movie.
You know what you're talking about. They had some animatics.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Scenes that got cut before they got fully animated.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you caught a few more gruesome Autobot deaths.
Right.
Some figures getting canceled.
Right. So there's those, and I don't know how much of that exists for G.I. Joe the movie anymore.
Right.
But that's so like Transformers, as much as I mean, obviously we're on a G.I. Joe show. I'm gonna figure that most of the folks watching this think that the G.I. Joe movie is a better product. It was not a bigger deal because of the way the Transformers major market release just fell on its face.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of that stuff they bothered hanging on to or anything like that.
There's that bonus Teletran 1 footage of Hot Rod plotting Optimus's death. That was kind of cool.
While we got a few minutes, why don't we go ahead and roll into what we got in? James, you're our guest. What'd you get in?
I haven't gotten anything in lately, but this was the last thing I got in. I'm a sucker for these San Diego Comic-Con things.
Oh, okay.
Get you in the big screen here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool.
I love those things. I didn't go, but that was the last thing I got. I love those things.
All right.
little pins and whatnot.
Rack time, Rob.
Two things. Last Wednesday, day after we did the show, I got the retro card Snake Eyes. Yes, he came in an envelope. He actually showed up in decent shape.
Lucked out, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I was opening them up anyway because
Right.
so this guy's kind of special because he was Joe Fig #1 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's your boy.
Yep. And then just today, literally, opened the box mere hours before I got my Cobra Valkyries.
Ladies' night.
It's ladies' night. That's right.
So, anyways, back to baseball. No, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark Weber.
Oh, this is going to be great. We're going to have a live unbagging. As you can see,
Hey,
already holds.
you got your Snake Eyes too.
Already pre-chewed by the post office pet ferret.
Right. This is every designer at Hasbro's worst nightmare: an unsupervised marketer with an X-Acto. If you ever couldn't find your designer at Hasbro as a marketer, just pick up an X-Acto knife, and four of them appear like Candyman, and they're like, "What are you trying to do?"
Right.
Put the knife down.
Just
and like
over your head, like you're gonna stab something.
Yeah, like you guys don't call it a knife. Like, yeah, it's not a knife in our hands. So, and voila. So, oh, I turned on my printer. There we go. So, not bad so far. I'll do the sideways test. You know what?
Yeah, you could do worse.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely take it. Yeah, and he looks slick, so I'm pretty happy about this guy. And then, foreshadowing. There's a chance something cool's coming in this week. So tune in next week for another thrilling edition of
What we got it.
Yeah. What'd you get, Mike?
I got some stuff. We haven't done this segment for a couple of weeks. So it's gonna seem like I've just gone on some freewheeling spending spree, but that's not really like you spread it out over a month and it's not quite so bad. I work from home, so I don't spend anything on gas. The number's starting to get to a point where even I'm not comprehending it well. But yeah, there's 96, and he's spiffy, and here's 97, and he's pretty good too, and 98's probably the worst of the bunch, and he's still pretty good. He's just got a few little scuffs on his chest mark, his ammo things on his chest. Also got some other winners here. I picked up a Chuckles. Because the one that I had was falling apart, and James is with us today, so that seems like a good time to bust him out. Got a couple of 86 Vipers to add to that pile, and then another one of these glorious bucket heads. I like these original Toxo Vipers more than I should.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
More than anyone. I really dig these guys, and I'm not sure why. Rob absolutely hates them.
Yeah, if they hit classified, I'm like, hey, you know what? There's one I don't need to army build.
No. They look like ducks.
Nonsense. And then last but not least, a 92 eel. You can see I helped our friend Hooded Cobra Commander 788 out on the 92 eel review, highlighting Chompy, the robot missile launcher shark.
Yeah,
he's the prize of this.
Shark / backpack.
Right, yeah. Shark / backpack. He's fantastic. I love Chompy.
Yeah,
I love his swimmy little heart. And I realized that I didn't have one. I used to have one, and I'm not sure what happened to it. So the need to replace Chompy was important, and found one for a really good price, and just pulled the trigger without thinking twice on that one. Chompy's the best. We love you, Chompy. Yes, we do.
How are the faces on your Vipers?
Good. This guy's his joints are a little floppy, but the other one's really good. He's got a little mark on his mask too, but it's not too bad. Looks like maybe it got touched up. but whatever. He wasn't expensive. I'm not a high roller, as we've talked about many times off air. So there's those
deals in volume.
Right. I scour for deals. But that's really about it. I got some stuff coming from Classified because all we do is pre-orders, so I guess they got to come in at some point. Nothing new there. We did cover a little bit of it. Real quick, let's roll into shout-outs. James Booth, again, you're our guest. Go ahead and shout out. Get that started.
Well, first I want to shout out my beautiful wife. She's watching. I can hear it going on out back there. And my family, they're watching my major league debut tonight. I also want to shout out Steven the Writing Dad at the One Writing Dad on Instagram. He's my partner in this G.I. Joe podcast YouTube journey. And it'd be super boring if I didn't have somebody to talk to.
Right.
And he's the right fit for it. So yeah. So shout out to those wonderful people in my life.
All right. Not your mom.
In the family. I thought I said family, but yeah, everybody.
The specific.
Yeah. She's just not in the house. She's at a different house.
All right.
I can't hear her watching.
Rack Time Rob, shout out.
Shout out to studio audience. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you to James for joining us tonight as well.
That's it.
That's it.
Mark Weber.
Well, one that I added because of breaking news during the show earlier on, Dustin Jeffrey announcing that his wife has finished her treatments and is cancer free. Right? Like, yeah, and that's I got my own history, my own cancer dance. So anytime I hear that stuff, it totally pulls the heartstrings. So congratulations. Look forward to the anniversaries of that moving forward. It is Arthur Burkhart's birthday today, voice of not just Destro Stalker, Iceberg, and I think maybe even a couple more.
The great Amir Khan and network.
Right. So yeah, and a ton of other work in his library. But it is one of the real joys of being on this program, and there are a lot, but Arthur asked for my phone number the first time I was involved in an interview with him. And every once in a while, the phone, like once a year, maybe the phone will just ring and it's friggin' Destro on the other line. Right. And that never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
No. And Arthur is not the kind of guy, and I'm not unique or special or anything, but I think he only calls when he's feeling chatty. So it isn't just like, hey, that's Arthur. What's up? How you been? Okay, cool. Hey, I got a question. It is 40 minutes to an hour and a half.
Right.
And look, man, like I'm going to cut short Destro. Hey, well, good to hear from you, Arthur. I really got to get going. Nah.
Look, this dude's got stories, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
back into our audio library. We had him on twice on the program. And keep in mind that like one of those is a 2-hour interview. And I had to cut that down from over 4 hours of material just because he went off onto tangents and spilled some tea that we weren't allowed to weren't really at liberty to rebroadcast.
Right.
And but it was amazing. He was one of the best guests we ever had on the program. And absolutely happy birthday.
The first time I met him through the show when we had him on, ring, ring, and he joins the show. We're not on the air yet. And the first thing he said was, man, I'm so tired. And I'm like, ooh, I hope this goes well. And then lights, camera, action, man. As soon as it was showtime, it was full on the Destro experience for 2 hours at least.
Right. It was about 60 seconds of warm up. We caught him on a dead wake up, and he just needed a few seconds.
Yep.
As we all do.
Yeah, that was it. He was just like, where's the red light?
Yeah.
And go. So kudos, happy birthday to Arthur. We dig him. And then to my own horn, I'm going to be guest on the Toy Talk podcast tomorrow with It's Chad. That's live Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find him on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to it. Anytime I get to chat about G.I. Joe is great and talk about my small window at Hasbro. Actually getting to work on the brand is super exciting for me. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And anytime I can branch out and spread the What's on Joe Mind gospel somewhere else, I'm happy to do it. So I'm America's House Guest, happy to be on your podcast coming very soon.
Right. Like I'm shocked that more people don't ask, frankly. They could maybe they're all like James, thinking that this is an important show or something. We're just dudes who go to the supermarket like everybody else.
Yeah,
so.
I am not trying to oversell it, right? I wasn't on the brand for terribly long, but man, there aren't a whole lot of guys who worked on the brand who have a regular online presence. So I'm happy to wave that flag. There were a lot of brand managers attached to G.I. Joe from 2000 to now, and most of them didn't want to be there, right? It's where they got shuffled to, or it's where they started at, but it wasn't where they wanted to be. I was one of the only brand managers who was thrilled to work on G.I. Joe in the last 25 years. So I'll carry that title around. If anybody wants to wrestle me for it, bring it on. Yeah,
we'll get a belt.
Right? Use a belt. That wouldn't be bad. I wrestled Sergeant Slaughter. Damn it.
No, cummerbund.
Right.
Championship cummerbund. Yes.
I wrestled Sergeant Slaughter once and lost, but I'll defend that title anytime. And that's it.
All right. I will I'll throw out shout out for the live audience as well. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're on a week where there was one news item. We're still keeping you over 2 hours. So good on you. And a lot of the names we're seeing now are still there at the end, or it was saw at the beginning, or we're still seeing now. So yeah.
We can't be stopped.
Right. I'll be honest with you. Even if somebody hadn't leaked the wolf spider, it still would have been a damn good show.
Right. We had James here. We could milk James for content.
That's what I'm talking about.
We deserve it. We got him started. We were his inspiration. He owed us 30 minutes of interview.
Yeah.
We are the wind beneath his wings, and we apologize.
Sorry about all that. Sorry.
Sorry about it.
To James's wife. Sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't mean it. We're sorry.
Yeah. Although the one thing that really resonated when you talked about listening to podcasts while you're driving, I had a job that was a good hour and a half commute to and from, which is not anywhere near the drive time of a professional driver, right? But
right.
God, I got tired of my own music, right? Within like a month, and podcasts were fantastic.
Well, that's part of the thing.
Content, right?
That's exactly right. Like, I don't listen to new music. So, if you were playing new wave punk from 80 to 88, that's my jam right there. And there's only so many times I can hear, Bad Religion and these other bands. I'm like, okay, I got to do something else.
Yeah. And you don't want to resent the music you really like.
Yeah. The Misfits are reuniting. I can't take it hearing the Misfits again.
No more.
No, done. Yeah.
Shout out if you're listening to us on recording. We appreciate you too. Regardless, if you catch us on YouTube tonight, remember, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share us in all of your various social media circles. It means a lot more when you share it than when we share it. If you're catching us on Podbean or any place else as an audio podcast, thank you too. Please take a minute, give us a nice 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell them you want to hear more of What's on Joe Mind. You want to catch us on the convention circuit, be sure to tell any local shows, hey, we travel. We'll show up and do a panel for you. We got no problems with that. But you got to ask for them because they're not coming to find us. They got other stuff to do. You got to tell them to look for us. It's What's on Joe Mind. We've been doing this for 12 years. We got a former head of the brand on our panel. It'll be a good show.
Well, that's me.
That's you. That's still you.
I barely remember it.
Right. We did like 5 Joe-Cons. If we're doing Joe-Con, we could do your crummy G.I. Joe show. That's for certain.
They'll be beating the door down now.
Right. Making friends everywhere I go. Like I've turned the entire nation of Canada against us.
Against you.
Yeah.
Right.
We dare you to invite us.
Against
See what happens.
They liked Gary and Justin okay. They did not like me. Anyways, that's it. That's what we got tonight. No, actually, a couple more shout outs. Of course, one for our good friend Brian, Hooded Cobra Cannon 788. Still on reprieve. He's look, doing videos like he does is a lot more work than what we do here on Tuesday nights on the TeamStream. So yeah, if we did that sort of thing more often, we'd probably take a few weeks off here and there as well. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to recharge from, and he deals with a much bigger audience than we do. So don't worry about it. He's fine. I chatted with him online a few days ago. He's doing great. But let's just let the man get his batteries recharged so he comes back strong and doing his thing, because we all miss him. But let's let him take his time. Maybe watch some reruns. He'll be back with us soon enough. And of course, our friends at Kokomo Toys, our wonderful sponsors. We'll sing their theme song real quick because we're already over time anyway. Kokomo
Toys. This is not bad.
It's all
we
right.
probably could have used a tuning beforehand, but fine.
But he did that better than most of our guest hosts.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely did that better than Joe Colton.
Yeah.
She is not enthusiastic. Song.
And that's why when she goes to Kokomo, they got to charge her double.
Right? They should. We'll make them do it.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's it for us. We got a long weekend coming up, so everybody be safe this Labor Day weekend. We will catch you on the other side. Stay tuned for the Superstation presentation of the Blues Brothers. We'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Hopefully something happens. Whatever. We're going to find another guest host willing to play ball with no news like this again. I don't think so. I don't know if they're out there. We'll do our best. Have a great rest of the week. As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. Have a great time. Yo, Joe.